Welcome, my peeps, my peoples. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the video. It'd be greatly appreciated from the bottom of my heart. It's Mary Jane. Let's talk about Southern Charm, Season 5, Episode 16, The Reunion, Part 2. I like OMG. Ashley came out here ready. She came out here ready to defend herself, and she kept the same energy. You know, she believed what she said about, Kathryn, and she ain't really trying to take that back or whatever. She was just like, it was the wrong time, the wrong place, but still the same message. I was like, OMG, she's keeping the same energy. But the cast feels like, Ashley is like a hostage where like she's in bondage with Thomas, and they feel like she looks sick, she looks bad. They feel like, she's actually a victim now. Like, what's going on? You need some help. Even Ashley was like, do I need an intervention? What are you talking about? Then we find out Patricia and Thomas ain't friends no more. But I been knew that, but didn't know exactly why, because she made a statement that she wasn't talking, she wasn't, messing with Thomas anymore. So I guess, Thomas and Ashley felt like there was somebody calling Thomas a lunatic, and then come to find out, they thought it was, Patricia, but if Patricia's his friend, and she spent like $10,000 of his money or whatever on Ashley. Why would they think Patricia be talking bad about Thomas when Thomas and Whitney are actually friends? So they assumed that it was Patricia, and then after that they went on the attack. Thomas and Ashley went on the attack on the internet and started going in. So that means that relationship is over. It's just like, damn, Thomas is losing friendship. Before, with his relationship with Kathryn was losing friends and she was being isolated. But it seems like his relationship with Ashley, Thomas is actually losing friends too as well, because it seems like Thomas is more definitive. And I guess, he wasn't really defending Ashley. He really didn't defend her this season. I guess only reason why Thomas is not friends with Patricia, because he felt like Patricia was calling him names. So, and he basically did talk bad about Ashley the whole season. He made fun of her. He told her that he would actually go back with Kathryn. She would actually change. If I saw this Kathryn that I see now, I would actually be with her. He flirted with her. He looked at her butt, looked at her ass. He made Ashley feel insecure, but Ashley doesn't want to admit that she felt insecure. She's acting like her relationship with Thomas was so good. That's why she didn't want Thomas to go to the birthday party by himself, and she wanted to be there because she felt like he was going to be flirting. And she said that in episode that, you're always flirting, you're always going out, you're always doing something. I want to be there just to see what was going on. She didn't care about the kids. She said she wanted to be there to see what Thomas was doing, because she knows that he's going to be flirting with her. And he has been showing all season that, looking at her butt, talking about her, flirting with her and everything, and actually making Ashley jealous and things like that. And they pointed out, but the boot situation, the birthday party where he amped Ashley up, like, I don't know why she's not inviting you and not handling that situation where Ashley went off too as well. So I'm just like, whatever. Ashley's acting like the relationship with her and Thomas is actually straight, it's perfect, and she's not insecure. She's very insecure, because if she was secure, she wouldn't be losing weight, she wouldn't be, whatever, she anorexic, if she is anorexic, or she wouldn't be taking drugs, her voice still wouldn't be bad. She'll still have that vibrant young look to herself. Because if you ain't bothered about your relationship, and you think your relationship with Thomas is all fine and dandy and it's all good and everything, then why you look sick, girlfriend? Why you look sick? Why you don't look healthy? Why you crying at the end of the reunion show talking about, oh, they don't trust my judgment, or they think I did something wrong, they don't believe me? Like, because the truth fucking hurts. That's what happened. They hit you with the truth, and I'm glad they hit you with the truth, instead of just really tearing you down, because they could have really tore you down, Ashley, because you really did some foul crap this season. But I'm not going to totally blame you, Ashley, because you are under a spell with Thomas. And like, even though you want to be under that spell, you like that spell, I don't know what is mentally wrong with you, where you think that you're in a good relationship. The way Thomas talked, he talked about you like a dog, talking about you begging for money. He's like, you're clingy, you're needy, you need to go have some friends, you need to do something with yourself, go back to Santa Barbara, go somewhere. He was actually really like talking down to you. So I don't know how your relationship is secure. And every time he turned around, he was talking about Kathryn's red, beautiful hair and all that stuff, and she's the mother of my children. And then Ashley, you was talking about, oh, I want to get pregnant, I want to have a baby, and he was like, So I don't know what's going on with Ashley. She's 33 years old. She's a hospice nurse. She's back to work and she has a job, but it seems like she's just so clueless that she don't have an idea, and it just drives me freaking crazy. But luckily, they didn't just shit on her, but Kathryn was just like too through. Kathryn really held her own, but Kathryn is not an innocent victim in the situation either, because I thought Kathryn got hooked on drugs with Thomas, but come to find out, she's been doing drugs since college. That means if Kathryn was doing drugs since college, she was doing drugs since high school. So she was always turned out, and you know what I mean. So it was a situation where her kids had to get taken from her. If she's a fucking drug addict. Come on, not so I know one person, I just say one person that was a drug addict. She raised all of her kids. I don't know how she did it, but she did. But anyways, but there's plenty of drug addicts in Hollywood and in the rich lifestyle that can still raise their kids because they have nannies, they have all different things and stuff like that. But Kathryn was also suffering from depression as well. So now you got a person that is on drugs and then suffering from depression, and then dealing with a man like Thomas that's not treating her right, that promised her the moon, the stars, and everything, and he didn't give it to her. And he's actually giving that to Ashley. So I don't know what's the big difference. Is Ashley able to siphon that money from Thomas, and Kathryn wasn't able to because she was just too young? So we may think Ashley is crazy, but she's able to siphon that money. But is that money worth it? That apartment that she's living in worth what Thomas is doing to her? Because you hear, Chelsea talk about that she heard that in another town that Thomas and Ashley was outside fighting at a place, and he threw the food at her. So imagine what he throws at her. And Kathryn said, I know what she's going through. I know what she's going through. So he's actually throwing food at her in public like that. Like, that's a goddamn shame right there. And then on top of that, excuse me, Ashley admitted that he threw the food, and she took the blame for it because she said she was acting like a child. She's acting like a pest. Why are you acting like a child at 33 years old? You're not a child. Like, let's get it together. Come on. You're a hospice nurse. We don't need you acting kiddish. And she's basically taking the fault and the blame for everything that really does happen between her and Thomas, something that Kathryn used to do too at one point in time. So anyways, Kathryn was asked about her depression and being off her meds when she actually disappeared from one of the episodes, and Kathryn said at one time she thought that she was good. She thought that everything was golden. She thought everything was okay, but she really wasn't. She went off her meds and then she disappeared. And what really made her feel good is that she had the support of the cast. The cast member really cared about her, and I thought that was real heartwarming, and that was nice too, because this cast at one point in time did not like her, except what's his name? Craig. Craig always had her back, but Craig also feels bad that he didn't have her back enough because he didn't know that, she was suffering from depression and different, illnesses like that, mental illness. And he wished that he would have supported her another way other than just defending her against Whitney or anybody else. He just wished he would have known, she was suffering from depression and would have checked on her more. And he actually feels kind of guilty about that. So, Kathryn's doing good at this time and point. She's taking her medication, but she also has said something very important, that she doesn't want to be taking medication for the rest of your life. Yes, I totally agree with you. Like, you want to take some medication. Okay, I'm supposed to take this medication to make me feel better and to get everything all set, but why do I have to take it? It's supposed to help me once, but why do I got to take it for the rest of my life? Nobody wants to take medication for the rest of their life, but sometimes you have to. Sometimes it's just, if you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the wisdom, and if you don't know how to seek out other help, then sometimes you're gonna be on medication. But Kathryn has the right point, that like I take this medication for a little while, make me feel better, get my shit balanced, and then I'm good. But then she was like, then I disappeared. So she was like, she just really don't want to be taking medication for the rest of her life. And then also, she talked about that she grew up quick, and she was suffering from alcoholism and things like that, but now she's better. She's not doing drugs. She got custody of her child, and actually she's living her good damn life right now. She's doing good. She got a new phone too as well. So Kathryn's actually doing good, but I just didn't like all the faces and rolling her eyes and turning up at Ashley. And I know why she did it, because Ashley's sitting over there lying like her relationship is great because she's been with Thomas. But don't, it's just like, what she's going through. You know what kind of abuse she's going through. You know how she is probably thinking, just like you was thinking back then. And I know Kathryn did say, well, she's older. She's 33, yeah. But some women are just not mature. Some women, sometimes they fall for anything. And some women think it's like at 33 that I got to get married, I got to have kids, I have to have this, I have to have that. And they put all their eggs in one basket, and that's the wrong basket to put it in. And, I don't know how, it seems like Kathryn, she was just rolling her eyes a lot at Ashley, because maybe Ashley was sitting up there lying about, she was lying about how great her relationship is, but she can't sit there and say, well, we have these problems, we have that problem, because no one on that stage would really understand what she says. They would pick her to pieces, so she can't really express how bad her relationship is and what problems her and Thomas have, because then she'll be giving the enemies ammunition, because right now Thomas don't really have a friend on that stage other than Austin and Naomi, because they're the only two people speaking good about him on that stage. Everybody else is pretty much done. I don't know if Thomas is even ever going to talk to Shep again. So we get to that situation. Then we also talk about Shep and his alcoholism. Yep, he's a drunk. But he's a funny drunk. He's a nice drunk. But, well, he's not a nice drunk to some of the people on the show. So they talk about, Shep moving, back to the beach, moving to his beach house, leaving downtown, not partying a lot. But, he's been he's been drinking a lot. And has he seen his doctor? Because his doctor was worried about one of his livers, I believe, or his kidneys. And he said he hasn't really seen the doctor, but he's still drinking, and he totally understands what Kathryn coming from the drugs, the alcohol, and depression goes hand in hand. It all reverses itself, because when you don't have the drugs, you're depressed. Sometimes you do have the drugs, you're not depressed, you're feeling good, you're on cloud nine, and then when you're trying to stay away, then you get the depression feeling, you get the anxiety, you get the worry. Kathryn understand because she has anxiety too, and so they ask, how many times have Shep and Kathryn hooked up? They hooked up after Kinsley was born, and he said that she has some good for JJ. Her snap is still snap. It's still tight. It's still right. It still feel good after she had the baby. And I was like, oh, shit, no respect. And so Shep said he used condoms every now and then, because we know he didn't use a condom with, Kathryn. I believe it was revealed in one episode that he didn't use protection. He just made her take a shower, I believe. So I could be wrong about that. So Shep is just like, he hooked up with her after Kinsley or whatever, and it was all good. Do you guys believe that? I believe they hooked up again after that, because he likes it. He likes what she has, and he wished that maybe if he can go back and do things all over again and not let people, enter into his mind in the situation, he might have worked something out with, Kathryn, because, it's been 5 years, but she's on the show. So that's why he's still in contact. But if she wasn't on the show, he would probably never see Kathryn again, or actually develop this relationship he does have with Kathryn. So right now, it's all good between them, and they talk about Shep and picking a 22-year-old over the 30-something-year-old on his dating show. He's just not ready. He's ready to be single. He's ready to mingle, and he's just not ready to settle down. He's 38 years old. Also, Shep is feeling like he's the oldest one on the stage now, but since Thomas is gone, he's the elder. He don't really want to be the elder. And also, Shep's talking about that he simmered down a little bit. He don't get drunk as much, and that's why he's more nice to Craig, because he didn't come after Craig this season. He had like maybe he had like 6 or 7 shots at Craig. Usually it's like 30 or 40. Every time he sees Craig, he's always getting at him, and he says, because I'm not really hungover all the time, so I can't really get upset with him. They talk about the mean Shep, and Shep said, yeah, there's another side to me. They talked about him being mean to Austin. They talked about him being mean to Craig and all this other stuff, but he's trying to change and be a better person, and he's getting old because his knees are better, but he's falling apart. And Shep and Kathryn hooked up about 5 times, but they did hook up definitely after Kinsley was born. I wish they would have brought up the scene where Thomas said to, what's his name, Whitney, and he said to Shep that, he hooks up with Kathryn every now and then when they have the baby exchange. Like, they'll go back a couple of months, and then they'll see each other and they'll get it on or whatever. I wish they would have brought that up, because the way that Thomas made it seem like they were still hooking up, like every couple of months, like every 2 or 3, 4 months, they'll get it in. So that's the way he made it seem when he was talking to Shep and Whitney. I wish they would have clarified that, or even brought that clip up and see what Ashley would have said about that situation. So moving on from that, Shep is trying to be a happy drunk. Then they talk about Austin, and Austin not sticking up for himself. And Austin said, I did stick up for myself, because Chelsea was like, you didn't stick up. And so Austin was like, I did stick up for you. I came after Shep. I went at him. I did as much as I could and all this other stuff. But it seems like Austin wants to be liked by the guys too as well. But he did stick up for, Chelsea at that time and point. But she wants him to stand up and speak up more and talk louder for herself. She feels like, he's the yes man, and he's like the butt of everybody's jokes, like Craig used to be. Craig still is, but Craig will fight and stick up for himself. He'll argue. Remember when he hit the shit out of Shep last year at the beach? He knocked the shit out of Shep on his leg or whatever. Shep was shocked. that, Craig hit his ass. Craig wasn't playing. And then also Andy all flirting with Shep, talking about, oh, look at your hand, so I'm glad you got a flaw on you. So he's saying, because he's saying Shep, I mean, Craig doesn't have any flaws, like physically flaws. I think Craig is a very handsome man. But I think some of his looks went away with the alcohol, drinking way too much, because last year Craig was drop dead gorgeous. It's just around his eyes. I think maybe because, Craig looked less happy and less enthusiastic this, season. He didn't seem so happy because he was going through the shit with Naomi, going through the shit with trying to do his house and whatever hell he's trying to do with that situation. So, but Craig is basically the most handsomest person on the show. Austin would be handsome if it didn't sound like he sniffed paint and shit. Like he'd be huffing like spray paint and glue and shit. So Rustin was like, you got it wrong. So, anyways, Shep and Chelsea are over, officially done. She's dating somebody else. He's dating somebody else. But he's still dating somebody that Chelsea does know. Chelsea's dating somebody that's out the circle. And Austin was like, he really liked Victoria because Victoria wanted him. And it seemed like Chelsea didn't want him. But everyone's saying that they still got some feelings for each other. But everyone's saying on stage as well that it's done, it's over with. And then they asked Austin, how come he never picked up the bill? And he didn't explain why he never picked up the bill. Only thing he explained that, Chelsea always grabbed for the bill. And she was like, well, when I grabbed for the bill, you never stopped me. You never said, wait a minute. And she said, you only paid for our dinner one time. And then Chelsea mentioned that I paid for she mentioned at least 3 or 4 places, which is probably like 20 to 40 places. And he was like, oh, she doesn't like to go out. But every time that she did go out, she had to pay for it. So she was like, I'm done with that shit. I work hard for the money. So you better treat me right. And she was like, when I go out with other guys, they don't make me pay. They take the bill from. She was like, I'm not one of these spoiled women from Charleston. I pick up the bill sometimes and you pick up the bill. But Austin never pick up the bill. Like, damn. Like, you let him play you like that, Chelsea? Because I know he picked up the bill with Victoria. Or maybe not. So, that situation over. It's done with. There's no more relationships supposed to be coming out of that situation. Then they also talk about, barbecuing ribs. How many people does it take to barbecue ribs? And, with Craig's, what's his name? Shep's party. And, there was, it went from there back and forth. Making fun of them not knowing how to barbecue ribs. Austin talks about his beer company. He's also got his beer company. He doesn't have a beer company. He's trying to get it out there, to promote it and brand it, to have other people distribute the beer for him. And, it's going to be totally awesome. He has a name for it. I forgot the name. I think it's Pop Tip. Tropical pop, something like that, because it's a tropical taste and it pops. And so that's when Chelsea jumps in and she was like, yo, listen, it makes me so sad that, Austin has all these. He has, like, his father used to be in the FBI, his mom got money, she does financial, she does some business shit, they got dough, they got cheddar, like, they pay his bills and shit like that, they take care of him. So I was figuring that his parents are putting up the bill for him to live in Charleston. That's why he can't afford to buy the food, because the food that he needs to buy to take out Chelsea, he's using that to get drunk with. So she was like, you have all this opportunity. All you have to do is pick a career to go for it, and your parents will pay for it. And she was totally right about it, because he came up with the beer idea, and they put like 20 grand behind him and all this other stuff. And I also think that, Austin wants some funding from Thomas, because I think that's why he's kissing Thomas's ass. So we'll see how that situation goes. And she had a point. Then Chelsea talks about how fucked up her childhood was, and she didn't have this, she didn't have nothing. And she said she made a decision to be a hairstylist, and that's what she does, and that's what she's doing. But she didn't always have she always didn't know what she wanted to be, because Austin trying to say, oh, well, you always knew what you wanted to be. I didn't know what I wanted to be. I was like, come on, Austin, you sound like a little kid. So anyways, that is done and over with. And she had a tumultuous, just a really bad childhood, being abused by her stepfather and then struggling. So that's why she worked so hard, because she don't ever want to depend on a man to take care of her, to take advantage of her. So she got her own shit together. So moving on from that, then they talk about, Ashley's coming out, and, Thomas and Ashley fighting. That's what, what's her name? Chelsea, she brought up seeing the people come to the shop and they tell Chelsea what be going on with the cast members, and that's how she gets more customers. And she also said that she found out that Austin was on Tinder trying to find dates or whatever. So it is what it is. And then Ashley, none other than an honorary guest, she comes out looking all sick, looking all drugged out, looking all worn out, looked like she was forced and she was push to do this show. She might have took a little bit of coke. She might have took some. She took some drugs to get on the stage. She definitely did. She's the old Kathryn. Like Kathryn used to get higher before she gets on this show. She did the same thing, and she's there to defend Thomas, defend him to the end. That's her job. That's what she's getting paid for. And she also comes out to, Andy's asking her questions about, like what people think about you and things like that. And she said, well, basically what the problem is like if people would like me more if they actually got understanding of my humor, my sense of humor, that I like to tease, I like to poke people and things like that. If they actually understood me, then it would be cool. It's like, damn, Ashley, you don't poke and you don't tease and you don't try to get a reaction out of people that you don't know, you just met, and in a sensitive situation where you're dating a man that has two children with a woman that he's not with, and they had a tumultuous relationship as well as you and Thomas do too, as now, that you don't do that. You should know better. It's like it's like some of these people don't have been raised right. Like they don't understand like basic normal shit, like being humanity, like being human, being normal. Like these are things that I shouldn't do this and I shouldn't do that. When I meet somebody new, I shouldn't poke fun at them. I shouldn't try to get them upset. I shouldn't try to get them a rise out of them because I don't know them. I don't know how they're gonna react. Now if it was me, I would punch the shit out of you and beat the shit out of you all down the street. You know what I mean? Just drag you and just throw you around, because that you thinking that people think that shit is okay, that they're gonna poke you and get a rise out of you, you ain't gonna do nothing. But Kathryn was calm because she said she didn't want to do anything that was gonna jeopardize her from her children, and so she didn't do anything. So she just let her get there. And I understand why Kathryn's rolling her eyes, but I just feel like when she rolled her eyes and she has and then she's negative towards Ashley, and just give Thomas the head up, it makes Thomas feel good because Thomas is interfering and he's bothering Kathryn, and he's bothering Ashley, and he got them going at each other. So that's the situation with that. And I was just like, yo. So I was just like, So she says that or whatever. And they talk about that situation. Then they also talk about, her losing weight. People talking about what's going on with you. You look like you want drugs. You want anxiety. The tweets, you see them in the slideshow and things like that. So they're like, yo, what's going on with you, girl? She was like, oh, it's filming. It's because I'm filming. I'm so nervous. I look at the back. I don't know if I said the right thing. I don't know if I said the wrong thing. Andy was like, what are you talking about? Filming was months ago. You still look. She was like, well, it's a combination of things. It's the filming. It's the allegations. It's the charges. It's all this other stuff. So she's making all types of excuses. I don't think she's anorexic. I only think she's eating, period. And I think she's living that high class lifestyle with that cocaine diet. And Thomas is okay with it because he's living that diet too as well, because they're going through some things. I'm saying, why is Thomas not being drug tested as well? I wonder now, since Kathryn has full custody, that she can actually act for Thomas to get drug tested as well. So we have that situation going on. And Ashley totally believes Thomas is going to be vindicated from the allegations. And then on top of that, she says that, he's just been accused. He hasn't been charged. He's like, it's different now. You're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. Now you're guilty until proven innocent. And she basically got his back all the way. And she better, because she needs a place. She got a job now, right? So she's working. She's a nurse. And so she don't need his money like that, but she said she don't want money like that. She can marry millionaires. She can been with millionaires, because she's from Santa Barbara, somewhere like that. Andy was saying, he was like, oh yeah, you be around guys that got Oprah money. If she was around guys that got Oprah money, she wouldn't even look at Thomas's ass. And then Ashley tried to say she dated a bartender, a surfer, some bullshit. She probably dated them when she was like 12 or 13 years old. So the jury's still out whether you think Ashley is a escort. Everybody believes that she's an escort. And then when she said, I can date rich man, I can date this, it was the wrong choice of words. And this is what these people always use, the wrong choice of effing words on the show. Like, okay, if people accusing you of being a gold digger and a whore, last thing you say, well, I know plenty of rich men, I know where they be at, or allude to like you can get that. But you probably could, but there's a certain way you're supposed to say, because people are already judging you. So moving on from that, she was like, oh, they asked her, how did you meet Thomas? She was like, oh yeah, I met Thomas at a party in Santa Barbara, and he asked me, like, what do I do for work? And I told him I was a nurse. And then he said his sister was a nurse. And then I was like, he was so enthralled, he was so into it, he was just so amazed by what I do for a living. And then that is Kathryn's face when she was saying that, and it was just like, oh my god. And then Andy was like, That's the normal question. Everybody asks what everybody else does for work, what you do for work. I just think Ashley wanted to throw in that to make sure that she tells people that she's actually a nurse. And so Thomas and Sammy Andy busted her bubble about like that's a normal question, but she said it's just that he was so interested in me, was so interested in what I do for work. Yeah. And so, but it was crazy to find out that Kathryn said that you know Ashley's actually signed an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, and she can't repeat anything about what happens between her and Thomas. Why would he have her sign that type of thing? Because she can actually bring him down. And that's what Craig and Kathryn really think, that she has some information. She knows Thomas' deepest, darkest secret, because he let her in so much and so close, where now she can use it against him and she can go straight to the media with it. This is also what Kathryn said, that Thomas told her that he's scared that she might go to the media and all this other stuff. I don't think Thomas is scared. I think Thomas is liking what he's doing with Ashley. I think he just likes it, because if he got her up in an apartment. Remember, Kathryn was begging and crying and pleading for Thomas to get her an apartment for her and her 2 kids when they were dating. This was like not last season, but the season before last. He done already got Ashley an apartment, spending 10 grand on her, buying her stuff, taking her out. And it is what it is. It's something about Ashley. It's that craziness, because she's crazy, and she's on I don't know, she go crazy and he goes crazy. And I don't know what they be doing. They be doing some wild, kinky shit. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you, they do some wild, kinky shit. They do some shit that he would be embarrassed for the world to know what he does in the bed with Ashley. And I can just feel it. And so they also talked about Kathryn hooking up with Thomas. The last reunion, they did the dates. Thomas and, Ashley started dating of May 2nd, and then he hooked up with Kathryn in June. And so Ashley was like, well, listen to this. Well, Thomas told me he hooked up with her, so I know. He told me in July. He don't lie to me. He don't lie. Thomas doesn't lie at all. When that bitch said Thomas don't lie, I was like, come on. Like, she's real delusional. So then after that point when she said that, I realized why Kathryn was making the faces at Ashley, because she is delusional and she is really getting paid for that. She's working hard for the money. She's working overtime. Thomas is sitting here watching that reunion, eating popcorn, drinking, doing some blow, talking about, there you go, baby. Come on, you should have said this. I can only imagine Thomas and Ashley watching this review. I mean, watching the episode of the reunion. So, anyways, but there are people from Southern China that do watch my reviews. But this season, they're not really supporting me because I got too real out here in these streets. But you know what? I got nothing for love for you guys. If you want to, let me know the story, and I'll do a video on it and talk about your side of the story. But anyways, so moving on from that, Kathryn, because you guys really did show me some support for the last 2 seasons or whatever. But I know it just got real. Like, I had to talk about the real shit that happened. Like, I couldn't sugarcoat it, because then I would look fake, and I ain't fake. And if you tell me your side of the story and what the truth is, I'll put it out there ASAP, no problem. We can video time, we can FaceTime, you can send me something through Twitter. It's all good. So anyways, that's how the situation goes. And then, Ashley talks about, me and Thomas' relationship is so wonderful. It's so great. I scare him. I put bugs. I do this. I do that. I was like, yeah, right. Thomas be slapping your ass all over the house, and you be throwing stuff at him, running and crying. Like, they have, you could tell if they have, sexual, sadistic type of sex, and then they have the regular abusive relationship with treating each other like crap and dirt, and then feeling good about saying the most awful things to each other. But she's saying that their relationship is golden. It's so fun because they play tricks and play jokes on each other. It's just like everything. And so they talked about, Thomas is spending money on her. No, they asked her, did she have sex with Thomas in the bathroom at Shep's birthday party? She said no, she did not have sex with him. She said she was just really nervous and she wanted to talk to Thomas alone. Everybody agreed that she had sex with Thomas in the bathroom. Did she have sex with Thomas in the bathroom? Her rebuttal to that she wanted some alone time with her man because she was around a bunch of strangers that she didn't know. That really does make sense. That's something that I would do if I felt uncomfortable. I'd be like, come in the bathroom, let me talk to you, because I don't know none of these people or whatever. But they could have smashed. At the time of the episode, I thought they smashed, but her rebuttal was good, so we'll give her that. So they moved on from that situation, and she goes, "Oh no, I would not have sex with Thomas in the bathroom because Thomas don't like to have sex nowhere but the bed." And then that's when Kathryn goes, "No, he don't. He like to have sex other places." And she was like, "Okay, all right, good then, Kathryn." I was like, "Kathryn, do it." And like, he like to have sex. He has sex with me everywhere, everywhere. We had sex in the car, under the car, on top of the car, in the backyard, in the swimming pool, at the beach, at the store. You know, Thomas and Kathryn was really strung out back in the day when they was together, partying all night and doing it any and everywhere. Thomas was so infatuated with Kathryn, it was just crazy. But damn, it's just so messed up how he just ended up treating her. But thank God she got away from him and she got clean and sober. She's a better person. She's a better woman. She's a better mother now. So it's all good. So everything works out for the better. So we have that situation. So that's over with that. And so then um Naomi said something about, "Oh, I wouldn't have did that. I wouldn't go in the bathroom with him and talk to him. That's nothing I would do." Naomi, shut the fuck up. Mind your business. You're always jumping in when you don't need to be jumping in. Jump in another time. Naomi gets somebody. She was like, "I wouldn't do that. I know. I wouldn't be in the bathroom with somebody." Oh, you make me so sick sometimes. And I do like you, Naomi, because you bring the heat. You brought the heat this season too. You brought the heat the season at Craig, at whoever he was dating. You brought the heat at Elizabeth. You brought the heat towards Thomas. You brought the heat towards JD. You brought the heat. Like, so I ain't even gonna be mad at you. And you talk mad crap, but you getting on my, you just be doing way too much. And it looked like that you didn't get a nose job when you were standing there. You was like, I was like, oh God, shut up. I just don't like the way she treats Craig, but then Craig is not innocent because he brags about being a liar, and he also told us that he makes shit up in his head too. He doesn't really have a touch of reality too as well. So now we can't really get mad at Naomi for that because she was dating a crazy person. So not crazy, but he just wasn't stable, and I believe he said he had ADHD. That's why he can't focus. That's why you see him sewing, gardening, taking care of the cat, doing everything else but what he's supposed to focus on. But once he gets there, he gets there. So anyways, they talk about the 10 grand. So we move on from that, about having sex in the bathroom. So anyways, moving on from that. And so then that's when I guess something happened where Ashley talking to Kathryn about, "Oh, he gave you something. He gave you 2 kids or whatever. He gave you something." And she was like, "Oh, he gave me 2 kids." Like, she gave him 2 kids because obviously he's like 50 something years old going on 60. He hasn't had a baby yet. And don't tell me Thomas used protection. Just like Shep don't use protection, Thomas don't use protection because he's too drunk. He's too high all the time to remember to throw on a goddamn condom. Right now he's throwing on a condom with Elizabeth, with Ashley, because he don't want no more children, and she's supposed to be on a Plan B pill, but his sperm wasn't getting them other women pregnant. He got her pregnant. So I'm surprised Shep's sperm didn't get Kathryn pregnant. It must have not been strong enough. I don't know, but she done had the babies by Thomas. So she was like, "What?" And so, it goes in that situation. Well, he gave you 2 kids. Like, no, she gave him 2 kids because she could have had 2 kids by anybody else. He was the one, his sperm count was the one that was declining and getting worse and worse with the drugs and alcohol that he does take, and just being so goddamn mean spirited. And they all talk about Thomas having this mean spirited side too as well. And so then that's when they get to the conversation about, Thomas is spending, the 10 grand. And then it was like, she was like, "Oh my God." Everybody was like, "Oh my God, he spent 10 grand. Thomas can spend 10 grand." Like, damn, what the fuck? He could spend 10 grand on his for JJ if he want to. So they talk about him spending the 10 grand and Patricia the credit card, and that's when Kathryn jumped in. You took his credit card anyway, right? You had it. She was like, "He gave it to me just to make sure that just in case something happens." Like, Kathryn, why do you care if she got Thomas's credit card? Are you jealous because he didn't give it to you? And he should have gave it to you because you was young and beautiful. This woman looks like death, and he's giving her money. So I don't know. Did Thomas have a coming around? So anyways, moving on from that, we talk about the 10 grand. We talk about how messed up that is. And they talk about how she spent his money. And they think that's wrong. She was like, "Well, it's not my fault." So that's when Kathryn was like, "Oh, Thomas has always been frugal. He may got a nice house. He may have this, but he's very frugal." She was like, Ashley was like, "Maybe he was frugal with you, Kathryn, but he wasn't frugal with me, baby. He loved this. He wanted some of this. He spent money on this." And then that kind of makes it seem like she's an escort, people would probably say. So moving on from that situation, they talk about the Ashley said her biggest regret was actually going shopping with Patricia. She should have actually went with Kathryn. Then everybody's in an uproar. Like, what do you mean that's your biggest regret? What about all the other things you said to Kathryn? The horrible things. Even Andy was like, yo, all the horrible things you said to Kathryn, I would have to punch you in your face. Like, I don't know how she held it together. And you know, Kathryn was like, because I don't want to lose my kids. So, moving on from that situation, everything. So Kathryn, so Ashley's burning through his account, and so it is what it is with that situation. And then you know they talk about Thomas and you know Kathryn, Thomas and Patricia going back and forth at each other on the internet, and Ashley actually jumping in, and they both tag teaming and double teaming Patricia and saying awful things. And that's when Shep jumped in and was like, "Yo, listen, that was messed up. You know, Patricia did a lot for Thomas, and so that relationship is done. It's over with and gone. So I think that's going to cut Thomas off from a lot of people because Patricia is really a socialite, and then on top of that, you know, Shep is really close to Whitney, and you know, I don't think Shep is gonna take that too kindly, and it is what it is. And so they wanted to ask Ashley if she regret any of the awful things that she said at the vacation trip when she was just dissing, you know, Kathryn, calling her a bad mother, saying she don't want to see her children and all this other stuff. And she was like, you know, I'm sorry that I said it like that, but she's not sorry for what she said because she believes what she said. And everybody knows that her information is coming from Thomas. And trying to tell her, you need to get some other source of information. And then also Ashley said, well, maybe I should have, you know, talked to, you know, Kathryn alone, and maybe got to know her better, got to know her more instead of just diving in and being a real asshole. Well, she didn't say she was an asshole, just diving in and being real mean. So you have that situation. And then they talk about just, you know, Ashley just being mad disrespectful. Like, and then Ashley talks about the Halloween situation, and she invited, you know, Kathryn to come, and Kathryn refused to come because she didn't want to be in that situation. That's when Ashley throws shots. Well, I thought you would want to be around your children. I thought you'd be jumping through fire to be around your children. And so that's when Anthony was like, well, maybe, you know, she didn't want to go to trick-or-treating with Thomas and his girlfriend. And then that's when Ashley was like, I wouldn't have been there. I would have been sitting in the house. And then, and Andy says, do you believe that, Kathryn? Kathryn was like, no, I don't believe it. And so we got that situation. So they got that bullshit going on. So, and they talk about Ashley burning her bridges with, you know, Patricia. Same thing that happened with, you know, Kathryn. Kathryn and Patricia didn't get along, so it went downhill. So it seems like Ashley's going to be going down that same road. She's itching for drama. She's itching for pain. She's itching for all that other stuff. And so so basically that's it. A lot of people just like, you know, they're just telling Ashley that like, yo, you need to wake up. Like, you know, a lot of this stuff is your fault that you did, the things that you said. You're getting all that information from Thomas, and you know, you're not looking outside the box. And it was like you're being and Kathryn was like, I can see myself in you. So now we all see where the situation comes from. And it's just like, then they talk about Ashley being an escort, asking Naomi. Naomi said that she heard the rumor from her roommate. Her roommate told her that he has friends and family members that live in Santa Barbara, and told him that Ashley's actually an escort, and he heard it. Then they asked Austin about the situation, and Austin said, well, I heard it from several people that saying that she was an escort, and yes, I was going to tell Thomas that she was an escort. And so then that's when Ashley was like, it's not true. I don't even, you know, they're absolutely disgusting. I don't want to hear it. So she's basically just saying that she's not an escort at all, but they're not taking it back. They're still bringing up that she's an escort. And then we actually get to see Austin beer. Austin has his beer come out. Everybody drinks his beer. And then everybody's like wondering why Thomas haven't broke up with Ashley. And it's like, damn, like Thomas is no catch as well. But they was like, oh, Thomas usually dishes girls. He usually breaks up with them. But Ashley seems like she can deal with the craziness. You know, watching people die. And it takes a certain type of human being to actually do that. So having a little wild and you know, drama type of relationship is all that Ashley needs. And so that was like, Craig was like, I'm surprised they haven't left you. And she was, and then that was like, what do you mean you surprised that she hasn't left, you know, Thomas? Like, why haven't Ashley left Thomas? Everyone was like, I don't know why Thomas is still with you. And she was like, because Thomas loves this. He ain't breaking up with this. That was like, well, we almost seen you guys break up so many times. Yeah, but we still together. Like, you know, she's bragging about that she's with Thomas, and she's been with Thomas longer than I guess anytime we've seen her, Thomas in a relationship. So everybody's want to know what she got. She got that crazy coochie, and she'll do anything, and she's down for whatever. Like, she'll get on this reunion, embarrass herself, and defend Thomas to the fullest, and say Thomas ain't no liar. Thomas gonna be fully vindicated. She's gonna do whatever to keep him happy, and that's why he's with her, because she would jump through hoops for him, and he can dangle dingleberries in her face with, feces on them, and she'll eat them. Peace, I'm out, one love. This was an awesome season. Like, this season was epic. Kathryn, everybody played their role. Cameron having a baby, Shep drinking the breast milk, Shep having the parties at his house where the drama popped off at, Shep, eating a hot dog after a bird ate off of it. Austin and Victoria, Austin and Chelsea, their little back and forth. Victoria getting on my nerves too as well. Then Austin doing his beard thing. It was just like crazy. Like, then Thomas was going in and out, back and forth with Ashley. Them breaking up, them arguing, him making her jealous, him making her feel insecure, and then watching Ashley like feed into it. Then Kathryn going back and forth with Ashley, and then Naomi, then Chelsea jumping in and getting at JD for cheating on his wife, for taking the money, for being a thief, and all that other stuff. Like, it was crazy. They went ham this season. Whoever did this season was lit. I think this was actually the best season ever. Peace, I'm out, one love.